Okay, fifth graders, here's your homework. Over the Christmas break, page 266, review what you know. This is the very end of chapter 6, right before we start chapter 7. So I'm looking at the top of the page here, choose the best term from the box. Here's the box here. They've got a bank of words to choose from. You guys can do that. And so chapter 7, we're going to start dealing with some fractions. And I'm not familiar with how well you guys know your fractions because we haven't done any together here. And it says compare, so write greater than or less than or equal to for each. So each one of these you have to write an answer. So 1/5, is that greater than, less than, or equal to 1/15? So let's do a couple practice ones here. So 1/3, is that greater than, less than, or equal to 2/9? Well, really, what you want to do here is get the denominator, and that's the bottom of a fraction. The 3 is the denominator. In this one, the 9 is the denominator. You want to get those to be the same. And the easiest way to do it is to look and see if 1 will go into another denominator evenly. Well, 3 will go into 9 evenly. How many times? 3 times. So you could change 1/3 to 9/3. And why did I pick 3? Why is it 3 on top? Because the 3 goes into 9 3 times. And that times 1 is 3. So now we have 3/9, and we're comparing that to 2/9. So, which is larger? Well, now all you need to do is look at the numerator. The numerator is what's on top here, which is larger. 3 is larger than 2. So 3/9 is greater than or larger than 2/9. Okay? So how about this one here? We want the denominators to be the same so we can compare them. How many times does 20 go into 40? It goes in twice. Okay, what's 2 times 5? 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, and this stays the same. This is 12 over 40. Which one's larger now? Well, this one. So 10 over 40 is less than 12 over 40. All right, so now with that newfound knowledge, let's look at a couple of these here. How about the very first one? They don't give you much room to work like usual, but if I was comparing 1/5 to 1/15, what do? Well, does 1 fit in the other evenly? Yes, 5 fits into 15. How many times? Well, 3 times. What's 3 times 1? 3. So this becomes 3/15, and this stays the same. It's 1/15. Well, which is larger? 3/15 is larger than 1/15. So this is larger or greater than. All right? Let's do another one. How about number 9 here? We have 11/16, and we're comparing that to 2/8. Well, does 1 fit into the other? Yeah, 8 fits into 16. How many times? 2. So that number times the numerator, which is on top. So what's 2 times 2? 4. So this becomes 4/16, and we're comparing that to 11/16. Which is larger? 11/16 is greater than 4/16. So there we go. All right. Should I do one more? Yeah, I'll do one more. How about number 10? 10 looks kind of ticklish here because 5 doesn't fit into 7. So, oh my gosh, what number could we use that both 7 and 5 will fit into? Well, I usually start with the largest number and I just start adding 7 each time till I get to a number that the other one would fit into. So 7, that's not going to work. 14, well 5 won't go into 14 evenly. How about 21? Does 5 fit into 21 evenly? Nope. How about 28? Nope. 35. Oh, there we go. 35. 5 fits into 35 evenly. So we're going to convert both of these. Not just one of them, but both. So 7 goes into 35 how many times? 5. What's 5 times 2? 10. Okay? 5 goes into 35. How many times? 7. What's 7 times 1? 7. Now, which is larger? 10 over 35 is larger than 7 over 35. So what I've done here, these are equivalent fractions. In fact, you're going to be doing that at the bottom of the page here in a moment. Let's see here, get rid of that. So 10 over 35 is the same as 2 sevenths. Okay, that's the same. That's an equivalent fraction. And 7 over 35, that's the same as 1/5. They're equivalent fractions. All right? So bottom of the page, I think you guys can do 11 and 12 on your own. Bottom of the page here, it says write an equivalent fraction. Well, there's a couple different easy ways to write equivalent fractions. You can, if I had, let's say I had 11 over 22, and I had to write an equivalent fraction. An easy way to do it is to double each one. Okay, an equivalent fraction, so if I doubled 11, that's 22. If I doubled 22, that's 44. There is an equivalent fraction. What if my fraction was 5/12 and I needed to write an equivalent fraction? Well, I could double it again. So that's, what's 5 doubled? That's 10. What's 12 doubled? That's 24. There's an equivalent fraction. So that's one way to write an equivalent fraction. Just double it, or triple it, or quadruple it. It doesn't matter. Okay? Another way is you could take half of a fraction. So let's say, what if we had 10 over 16 and I wanted to write an equivalent fraction? Well, I could write 20 over 32. That's doubling it. But another way to do it is to take half of the numerator and half of the denominator. What's half of 10? 5. What's half of 16? 8. 5/8 is the same as 10/16. And they're both the same as 20 over 32. So there's more than one way to write an equivalent fraction. So let's look at the bottom of the page here. What's an equivalent fraction to 1/7? Well, that's easy. I'll just double it to what? 14ths. There we go. How many? Write a fraction equivalent to each fraction. We only have to do one. Well, how about number 16 here? I could double it, but I'm going to cut it in half instead. What's half of 8? 4. What's half of 26? 13. There's another equivalent fraction. So you could double it, triple it, quadruple it, or cut them in half, or cut them in quarters. You know, whatever works. Okay? That's your homework for the break. I was really tempted to have you guys do 7-1, but we'll just stop there. So hopefully you guys will get this done. This is going to be graded when you return. So make sure it's done. And I'm going to end the video here. You guys enjoy your Christmas break and be safe.